Hi, everyone. As the saying goes, all good things must come to an end. And today we honor the decision of a legend, Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, as she announces her retirement. This is a live for us to just go over some of the great moments that this woman has brought us. It's just a remarkable career. And we're going to go through it tonight and do our best to what I think will be a series of tributes come this year for an individual that deserves no less. Her touch on the sport is great, her status solidified, and we're talking about a global icon, a true legend. And I want to unpack all of that tonight. And I want to contextualize it before we go through some of the great performances. Let me know in the comments your greatest memories. But it's important to say that to merely call Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce good would be an understatement. Great barely scratches the surface. And without a doubt, again, I will say this until someone proves me wrong. She stands as the greatest 100-meter sprinter of all time. The body of work speaks for itself. Her achievements speaks volumes. A career that is nothing short of phenomenal. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. It's interesting to think that when you look at greatness, I believe most of you on this live, most people can identify what that is. And again, this is a Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce live tonight. Feel free to put all your thoughts in the comment section. But I want to contextualize the end of an era. What is it we're going to miss? So it's not difficult, I think, if you're steep in the sport of track and field or you understand athletics to think about what greatness looks like, the evolution of greatness, especially when it comes to the sprints. We think about athletes moving from the sub 11 as a big barrier. Then you get down into the 10.8s, that sub 10.9 barrier, eventually hitting 10.7s, you get the 10.6 and so on. So you can watch some of those things. And of course, Fraser-Pryce has done that. And obviously later in her career, consistently achieved times in the 10.6, just maintaining an incredible standard for such a significant period. And what's most important for me and for, I think, the sport and for people who are savvy is that it's the medals that are most important. Those are the things that never go away. And we'll get into that for sure. But what I want to contextualize before we unpack all of this greatness that we've seen over these many years is that the challenge often lies in not seeing it. The challenge, I think, is often lies is not that we are unable to see or identify greatness, is that we don't often appreciate it. And I think that's really important to think about. And we don't appreciate it because sometimes it gets easy for us to see, and we get comfortable with seeing people winning back-to-backs and running remarkable times. We don't get to see it. And it's rare to witness an athlete of this caliber who has not only transcend, I think, but redefine excellence. I think that's the mark for anybody who comes and they look up to a Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, is that she's left this, well, she's still around, but she's leaving, in a sense, an indelible mark on the sport. One that I think can only be characterized as excellence consistently. And that's something that we have to think about. She's truly one of a kind, relentless competitor. Don't forget that. She's very much known for a meticulous attention to detail and that indomitable spirit. Because we think about it, it's that ability to consistently perform at the highest of levels, time and time again, even when she's not at her best. And these are the hallmarks of champions, inspirational standards. She's raised the bar for what it means to be in the sport, to perform at her best, to do it with a smile on her face, and continually find ways to get up every morning and do the same thing over and over again because there is a goal in mind. This could have ended 5, 6 years ago, and we would have reflected on this and still say this is one of the all time greats. And so for her to continue to do this, it's just remarkable. So I want to thank everybody for joining me. I see a couple of people coming on. Good evening, Imran. Hi. You know, you want to talk a little cricket, but this is Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. I did see what's going on. I'll talk. We'll be back on that for sure. Everton, good evening. Thanks for joining me. Yeah, let me know, guys, your thoughts. What is your favorite Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce moment? Because I think that's important for us to get your thoughts as well. You know, lots of stuff happening there. So we'll talk quickly, as you know, just for those who, if you haven't been around and not following the news, what really happened. But obviously, there's an article in Essence, so Essence got the scoop in a sense. You know, lovely kind of a setup in their latest issue. I was just kind of perusing it on Apple Magazine. But there's some revealing quotes that are there, and she talks about that. I think what's important before we get into some of the reasons, obviously, is that she hasn't lost the drive. You know, she feels like she can get up and do it every day. I think she said, there's not a day I'm getting up to go to practice and I'm like, I'm over this. So that's important. Like when you see that, you realize that the woman is really still ready for the sport. But she goes on to say that her son needs her husband, who she's been with for such a long time before she emerged as a global superstar. You know, she talks about the sacrifices that he in particular has made, and you know, their partnership, all of that. And it's because of that support she's been able to achieve all of these greatness and to do it consistently over these many years. Good evening, Debbie. How are you doing? You know, we're honoring the great Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. Let me know your thoughts on such a remarkable career, and also, you know, your favorite moment. Right. So we know that after, you know, there's other things in that interview that was interesting to reflect on, to think about, notably thinking about the idea that there's other people in the pipeline. At some point you have to hang it up, and you know, this is a special moment to think about what she was saying, and some of those famous quotes in terms of, you know, what it means to be around this long, and the legacy that she's leaving behind, right? To think about the generations coming after her and giving them an opportunity to also dream big, right? We don't have to go into her biography or anything like that. You know, she comes from humble beginnings, but you know, this global superstar announces that her retirement, and it's not something that we see this early. She could have waited till afterwards, but it's something that created a headline. It's all over. I've seen it in multiple media outlets. You know, regardless of how you think about the sport, you realize that she's one of the few athletes that is known beyond the track as well. And so, yeah, so she's calling it. It's an end of an era, and it's just interesting kind of thing. 37 years of age. By the end of this year, she's getting to 38. So obviously, time at some point would have would put things into perspective. But she's not that type of athlete. She's one of those incredible individuals that just finds a way to be there, finds a way to win, even as she gets up in age, right? So she's the accolades are there, and I want to talk about a few of those in terms of what she's able to do at a later stage in the career, which also points to maybe interesting ways of preparation, right? But the great Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce leaves us with a remarkable career, a remarkable career. And I want to talk, before we get into some of the great stuff, I want to take you back to obviously 2007. Many of you may not have remembered this, but Fraser-Pryce ran in the heats of that 4x1, and so she secured her first medal in Osaka, and that a great kind of a taste for what it means to be at a major championship. And then 2008 comes around, because we all remember those scenes in Beijing. But I want to take you back to the Jamaica National Championships and what's happening around that time. So if you want a refresher, for those of you who don't remember, Karen Stewart won the women's 100 meters at the Jamaica Championships in 2008, 1080. At that point in time was, I believe, the second fastest Jamaican ever at that time. So we're talking about some big stuff at that point. Remember that. Fraser-Pryce was second in 1085, and Sharon Simpson followed in 1087. And the world champion, Veronica Campbell-Brown, was 1087 in fourth. So when you look at that, you're looking at certainly two all-time greats there now. In hindsight, some really tough competitors here. And I don't know if you remember the frenzy about, it's the Olympics. There are people I don't think it was a serious call, but people are talking about, well, we don't know Fraser-Pryce. She shouldn't be there. Maybe we have to give it to VCB. VCB is obviously the world champion at that point in time. And people are somewhat concerned about what will happen at the Olympics. And then you have to remember, 4 years before VCB, wins the 200 meters there. So by that time, she's an important athlete, one of the top athletes at that point. And no one really knows Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. She hasn't etched her mark on the global stage at that point. And there is that sense of, why are people saying nasty things? And I remember it vividly. But all of that becomes history, and we never think about it again. We don't talk about it, because what happens? She leads what is quite possibly one of the most spectacular nights for Jamaican women sprinting. She races her way at what, 21? I have to check that again. I think she was 21 at that time. Races to the 100-meter title in Beijing. And it's capped off by what can only be, fabulous, because Jamaicans take all medals. There are no bronze medals issued that night. Stewart and Sharon Simpson tied for the silver medal. And we forget about it. And that etches her. That's the first major mark that everybody, that ferocious start, and that form dying at the end in that Beijing race, but nobody could catch her. Remember that the signature move across the finish line as well. It's an era of greatness that she started right there. I mean, you could think about the work that puts in before, but that's the first time she sits there. She gets in the blocks, nervous, the greatest moment, the greatest show in the world, all the world watching, delivered. And if she had walked away from the sport after that, only winning the 100 meters, I think we wouldn't even be upset. Because not only what did she do that night, she becomes the first Caribbean athlete, woman, to win the 100-meter title. So you could see that, we can look in hindsight and see what special thing that was going to come. But that's where it starts. Let me get to a few of your comments. Thank you for joining. Debbie says she's definitely the GOAT of all times. Yeah, I mean, can't disagree with that. I gave her that many years ago. over 100 meters. Some people think she might be the goat over sprinting in general, but that's another story. Erwin is saying, "Good evening, thank you." Oh yes, the greatest female athlete ever to do this. Truly, will miss her. Yeah, we'll miss her as well. Yeah, shout out to Alison Felix as well. Yeah, I think the sport of track and field, we miss her. We know what the contribution has been, and I think the sport is in a better place because of her, obviously. I mean, what she's consistently done. But let's go through some of these things. I mean, there's a lot of things that she's really part of the history of things, right? You think about back to back at the Olympics. So defending that London title, before we go through some of even the other world championship stuff, but she defends the title in 2012. And that one I remember interestingly because that one I was in Canada. I was doing a quick travel. It was a kind of difficulty to get to see it, to see how. And then there was a little bit of a pressure. What will Jetta do? Jetta was having a fine season as well, and the questions around that. And I don't think she had the greatest of it. That one felt like, just pure. I'm just redoing the race in my head. Felt more like pure fight there, and she finds a way and she gets onto that medal podium. Amazing. And winning in London puts you in rarefied air right there. Because at that point in time now, she becomes the third woman ever to win back-to-back titles over 100 meters at the Olympics, obviously 1964 and 1968. The great Tiger Bell, Wyoming Tyus does it. And then you have to wait how many years for Barcelona and Atlanta, where Gail Divas delivers back to back. So you have those two American women doing it, and then joined by this great Jamaican at that by 2012, and then subsequently, there are four women ever to do that, with Elaine Thompson here as well. And so rarefied air, special moment. But not only that, when you think about the amount of medals that Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce holds at the Olympic level, over 100 meters, more medals than anybody ever, man or a woman. It's tremendous. 16, she goes into 16 with an injury, toe injury, finds her way on the podium. Bronze medal. 21 in Tokyo, handily beaten obviously by Elaine Thompson. But she gets on the podium. So she has a full set to complete the back-to-backs. Amazing. Obviously, there's relay medals, and we can get into those if you want, but I'm kind of focusing on our own individual greatness. That's a tremendous achievement. And if you think that's special, you think about what she's done at the World Championships. This is amazing. 2009. Didn't get it in 2011. Nothing there. Missed out on a medal because of injury and so on. Then she goes to Moscow in 2013. She wins it. Beijing, she wins it. She has maternity leave now. Comes back in Doha in 2019. Becomes the oldest athlete ever to win it. Then she becomes the second athlete to win gold medal after winning birth for 20-something years or something like that, almost 30 years. Spectacular stuff. And then she goes back again and she wins it in Eugene. And last year, we know what happened there. Finds her way on the medal podium with a significant late start because of injury. 5 times a world champion. 2-time Olympian. I put it to you. Show me the athlete that can take that down. It's very difficult. The dominance there is ridiculously good. The woman is something special. Let me see what else we're getting here in the comments. Thank you everybody for joining me. So Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce Achievement Appreciation Live. Let me know your most favorite moment from her. Irwin said, my favorite moment will be her first Olympics as a young athlete, winning the first medal as a Caribbean athlete. Yeah, 2008, very special. Obviously, 2008 was a fantastic night for Jamaica in turn over the sprints. It was a lot of extreme, you saw the birth there of obviously Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce winning, Usain Bolt, Veronica Campbell going back to back over 200 meters, defending her title from Athens in 04. Jamaica cleaning up all the sprints. Amazing. Truly amazing. So yeah, this great woman is calling it quits after this year. And best believe, I don't think for a second that she will be thinking about not winning this year, right? She doesn't operate like that. She's definitely going to go there, try to get on, make sure get on that Jamaica national team, and you have to fight it from her. I keep going back to some stuff, because sometimes I get it wrong. So I always like to highlight when I get it right. And I remember last year I was being interviewed and on my own channel, but talking about when would it be time for a Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce to retire, right? And usually people retire when injuries force them out. That's usually the biggest thing, especially in the sprints, especially people who leave at a more premature time. And smash that like button if you're really appreciating Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, and give me a subscribe. That's the best way to support the channel. But importantly, you start to leave when people force you out. When people who probably grew up and watched you start to beat you. Usually that's some of the markers the great athletes say, I don't want to sit around because when I'm in my prime, they couldn't beat me, and now they're beating me. And for Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, that's never really been the case. I mean, she's lost. Obviously, no one is infallible. She's lost to Elaine. I mean, this year she lost to Jetta once, obviously, and she's lost to last year to Shakari, but she's come. But I think outside of 21 and maybe 11, yeah, no, not 11. Outside of 21, I think every other time she's been suffering from something that creates an interesting kind of dilemma. But she finds a way to get on the podium. She's always on the podium. And so I was saying, like, can you beat her? That was my line. Sure, you can. Can you force her off the podium? Haven't seen it yet. So we'll see what happens this year. But certainly, I don't think it's a sad moment because I think we've gotten more from Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce than we probably deserve, and more from an athlete of this level that could have called it quits before for a number of reasons, for not having motivation anymore. That's never the case. Could have called it quits because she could have been injured seriously. It's just that fierce competitive nature and the ability to stick at something and follow through has allowed us to continue see her, to continue to have her around. And we got to appreciate all of these things, I mean, she's gone to 4 Olympic Games and picking up medals over 100 meters. It's not easy. And let's be honest, it's not easy to win. It's not easy to make the Jamaica team over that period of time. There's been top athletes. You go back, obviously, we talked about it, but you go back to 2008 and the defending world champion VCB doesn't go to the Olympics in 100 meters. That's how good it was. So it's not easy, right? Not easy at all. Let me see what you're saying here. Are you going to the Paris Olympics this year? I am not. So I think I made a mistake of not taking myself to go. I was supposed to go to the Olympics, to be honest with you. I didn't get into some stuff happened. And then by the time I got the things, I felt like I didn't want to spend that kind of money, if I'm being honest. But I will be taking a, yeah. Stay tuned on the Olympic stuff. I won't be there as of now. I definitely can tell you I'm not. I don't have any plans to be there. But I may be doing some things uh, just to build up to the Olympics that may see me in Paris. But we'll see. Yeah. But not. But before the Olympics. Yeah. Thank you everybody for joining me. Let's get your thoughts on Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. It's the greatest woman here, and we haven't seen her, right? Debbie's saying all these youngsters got to come with their A game, their Air Plus talent to get her off the podium this year. I think so. I think she's not going out without a fight. I always say one of the things that really is impressive about Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is that it's the way she beats you generally, right? She beats you in a manner where she's gone, and it throws you off. You have to keep calm sometimes, and you know a lot of people try to run her down, and it 9 out of 10 times it's not happening, right? So if she gets that pocket rocket, kind of start, or should we say the mommy rocket start now, it's hard, right? Like, we're talking about all-time greats that require to beat her, right? Like, she doesn't give it away that easily. I mean, let's be real. If the woman goes to the Olympic Games and wins, I really think that people should be. There are a lot of athletes have to question themselves, right? Like, this is not a. This doesn't happen. It shouldn't happen that way. Yeah. The truth is saying, is she retiring after the Olympics? Would she make the Jamaican team? I'm not sure. Oh, so you're thinking she can't make the Jamaican team this year? Is that what you're saying? I'm not quite sure about that yet. I mean, it's hard to say who can make the Jamaican team right now. We have to wait and see. Obviously, there's a lot of talent there. Uh, who knows, right? Like, there's people waiting in their wings. What will Kemba Nelson do this year? Hopefully, she's fit and healthy. What will you see from the likes of Brianna Williams? Will she come into her own? There's also questions of, there's younger athletes too. Your Alana Reeds, maybe a little bit too young. I don't know. What can the Clayton twins spring something? You never know, right? Like, there are people there. We have to see if Elaine Thompson is fit and ready, right? Those are interesting questions. I mean, if the big three, and the big three is Fraser-Pryce, Jackson, Thompson, Hira. If all things are equal and they are in good shape, then I think everybody else running for relay medals. That's what, they're not making the team. That's usually how we probably would pan out, right? But I don't know. Like, last season she ran some good 10.7s. By the time we got to the World Championship, wasn't good enough. But as a woman nursing some significant injury, age is an important thing. But I guess the beauty about Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce is that she's at a stage where she's been in the sport long enough, so there's a level of experience, understanding, preparation. But also, and more importantly, I don't think she's wanting, right? So she's set up nicely, great endorsements outside of the sport as well. And clearly, I don't know, obviously, I don't know all the details, but she's probably done enough for herself that she can manage the races that she would run this year and put her in the best position to not only perform at her best, but also be in the kind of shape that wouldn't necessarily make her fatigue or anything. It's not yearning to earn money, I don't think. How are you doing? She'll be on the podium. She will be on the podium in Paris. However, if Elaine remains healthy, she gets the triple gold. Now, or treble gold. That I mean, that has to be on Thompson Hira's mind, and we'll get into that this season for sure. We have to talk about all of that stuff. But uh, sorry about it. I'm getting like interesting call there. Yeah. Yeah, but we'll definitely get into that later on. I mean, I think that's a big thing for Fraser-Pryce. Not for Fraser-Pryce, but for Thompson Hira. I guess the thing about her is that what will we get from her, right? It was good to see her back last year. She changed coach again. She's at Fraser-Pryce's coach now. If she's fit and healthy, then that's going to be hard to beat her. But I don't know, right? Like, we'll see. I mean, she's also, I didn't want to go off on the outside of Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, but I will say that an athlete that is actually uh, injury prone, at some point it can catch up on you. So let's see, right? We'll see. Uh, yeah. Let's see what Truth is saying here. There's no guarantee that Shelly would make that team. Yes, we all have sentimental attachments to Shelly, but I'm not sure she would make not even the relays. Okay, I mean, I get, yeah, I don't know if look. There's a lot number of things that we don't know yet. We don't know if we don't know who will make the team, right? Like, people can get hurt, people can. I just think, actually, I feel confident in saying all things equal. I think she'll make the team. You know, given what we saw last year, and if she still can perform at that level, if there's no sustain anything, she'll make the team. I don't see. I mean, how many Jamaican women have to run better than 10 sevens or so to get her out of this? How many, right? Sharika might run a 10-6. I don't know what Elaine might run. She can get back into 10 sevens, 10-6. I think Shelly can do it, right? Like, we'll see though. But that's the beauty of sport. There's no guarantees. There's no bias to the Olympics, truth, as you know. So everybody has to show up at the Jamaica national trials or championships, and we'll see. We shall see. As Debbie say, I sure hope Shelley gets the goal in the 100 meters and Elaine gets the goal in 200 meters. That, I'm fairly confident, can't happen. I mean, I just don't see it. I don't see anybody beating Sharika Jackson over 200 meters. It requires an unbelievable season from Elaine. I mean, I don't know where she is, right? It's a lot of struggle. And to put the body through, it seems as if they figured out a way how to work her. And, at the end of last season, they found another way to allow her to train, even with some of the clear injuries that may put her back or set her back in interesting ways. So I don't know, like I haven't got any details yet. I'll stick my head out and get some and see what I can find out. But the question I would have is, does it make sense to push the body to do both events, especially given what they know, right? It's tough for her, right? Like, it's an interesting thing that she in particular has not gotten the opportunity to deliver in the world championships, right? It's because it's always some setbacks, and sometimes these setbacks are happening for multiple years, right? So we'll see. I mean, there's obviously other setbacks that occurred around it, but if we speak specifically about the injuries, then what we have there is a problem, right? We'll have to see. But I don't know. We'll wait. I mean, it's still early days. There's a lot of indoor stuff happening. I think the Olympics is not until the last week of July, going into August. There, the Jamaica Championships is a month before that. It's tough, right? To beat. I think what you're saying here, though, Debbie, to be honest with you, is like Sharika's race plan is a blueprint. Yeah, but the problem about that is even if you are capable of doing that stuff or getting, or can you get back to that level, right? We're talking about a woman that's redefining the sport in a way, right? You got to run 21-4 or better to beat Jackson. That's what she's saying. She's trying to go close to the world record on a number of occasions. She's run 21-4. Quite like those 21-4s are beating Elaine 21-54 from Tokyo by a meter or more. It's not daylight between them, right? Can she get so? And what I'm saying is that you're talking about an athlete that's a bit older, and also an athlete that really struggles with injuries, right? That is really an interesting thing. It's hard. I mean, the kind of load to put the body through that. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't talked to anybody, to be honest with you. So I don't know. If you know, let me know. I don't know what kind of work they're doing. Like, are they really gonna go for the double? You know that. I mean, obviously that would be something you want to do because it would be put her only Usain Bolt has done that, right? So for her to go three in a row there would just set her apart even more. But I mean, I feel like the goal should be to get her fit and healthy, get her back up to speed. I think 100 meters, poses less problems for her, and we'll see. I mean, but we'll see. True say, I'm seeing the same pretenders showing early season form again. Yeah, I mean, there's people who are out there. A lot of stuff happening, in indoor. So yeah. I can't see Sherika getting the world record. So Elaine will win. Is saying Elaine runs 21-2, and I can't see it. What you can't see? Oh, not getting the world record. Okay, right. Yeah, I think the world. Look, I don't know if they're gonna run for the world record this year. Obviously, no one really does that. Really, they do it, but they don't. Right? They just put your body gets to a point where you know you're in that space, and I think Sharika's been unfortunate not to get the world record because she's not gotten the kind of a support from the wind. She's been in fairly interesting stadiums that really don't have enough breeze coming in, and or when she went back to Oregon late, it was too late last year as well. And yeah, you get if she's in the same kind of shape like last time, you get a 1.2 or 1.3 or 1.2 better win, and she breaks the world record, right? And how much under the world record you go on? How much under on the 21-3 4? I don't know, right? Like a couple thousands of a second or so. But the challenge is, if you're not in a world record shape, it's hard to beat her. And 21-4, this is the next thing that Shericka Jackson is doing. And if we were to think about how Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce was doing these consistently winning all the time, is that we look at those 21-4s, she's popping them out like it's normal, right? Like, and we don't really see the gap, right? Like, you think about the people who are close to it, like people running 21-6, which we think are amazing times to run. You can get up to 21-6, it's fantastic. But that's meters behind. It's not even the same picture, you know? You can start drawing on your screen distances between those things. And if she gets to 21-3, yeah, I can't see it. I just don't. I have to see. Obviously, we have to wait, but just by pure speculation and thinking about the type of athlete Elaine is now with, nursing stuff, the best I think they can get her back to is to be in probably 10-6 if she can. Well, is that good enough to win? I don't know. It's good enough to be competitive. I truly think that if you're going to win the 100 meters in Paris, first you got to be in a 10-6 shape somehow. And anything better than that, you start to edge yourself closer. But the markers are there, right? And then there's a bunch of women coming too. A bunch of women, So we're seeing glory days in the sport. But to quickly go back to, and I'm happy you guys are putting all of these things together. But I'm really, my whole purpose tonight is to just do my type of tribute to the great Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. I keep saying I think she's the greatest over 100 meters ever. And I don't think you can really get. I don't think. Yeah, before I get that, I know you're not saying shades. I know what you're saying. Yeah. I'd love to see it. Here's what I want to see. Here's what I want. I want to see everybody at their best. Everybody at their best can only be better for the sport. It may come down to mental stuff. It may come down to minor things that separate people. I don't want people to say, well, you're not at your best, Yeah. If Elaine gets back to her best, if Elaine gets back to Tokyo shape, Debbie, then there's madness out there, literally madness. Then you think about what Gabby Thomas can do, or who knows who else might want to run. I don't really know what maybe Julian Alfred can get up in the mix to Abby Steiner. What Shikari might do over 200 meters if as well. Yeah, get all of them ready. Like we want to see it. So yeah, we'll have this. We're gonna have this discussion. I know you'll be around for it, so we'll do it. Shelly-Ann will surely be on the podium. Yeah, no, it would be great to see. I think first, I don't think she she yeah, I think she bows out with a medal of some kind. If she were to claim the ultimate gold medal, then lots of questions for other people, right? Like to get a 37-year-old woman to do that and to walk away from the sport that way, it would be a fitting tribute. We'd love to see it, but we'll see what happens later on. But this is a fantastic woman. I mean, what can we say about her, right? There's all these accolades. At one point in 2014, she was it in 2014 she was holding all the sprint titles available, including she had the double from the year before. She had the Olympic. Well, yeah, she had the Olympic 100-meter from 2012, and in 13 was 13 Moscow. Yeah, she won that double over 1 and 2. I think she won 60 meters in 14. So she was like pocketing everything, right? So all those titles. This is amazing, right? I don't really know what else we can say, right? Like, I mean, we're gonna miss her. We're gonna miss her on the track. We're gonna miss, you know, all that stuff. Look at it, right? Yeah, people might say she doesn't have the world record. I don't want to talk about the world record again tonight. Well, we know how that works. That is something, you know. I guess what I will say, and I continue to say it, it was a windy night in Indianapolis. Regardless of what you think of Flojo, I don't care. We don't have to talk about that part. But you can't tell me it wasn't a hurricane out there. I've seen it. I wasn't there obviously, but I should go walk down that. I can go walk on where that happened. I need to go check it out again. I keep forgetting about that stuff. Yeah, it's down in Indianapolis, but next time I'm there, I'll go check it out. 1060. That's the third fastest time ever. So she's in this kind of rarefied air right there, right? It's you're looking at a world record from Flojo Elaine's 1054 and her 1060, and then she's lived in the 1060s. She has what more sub 10-7 clockings than anybody else. So my proximity for these things is the medals, obviously, but it's not like she's not fast, right? Like she's been consistently fast as well, and she has the medals. I don't think there's an athlete here. I don't see them right now that can go pull off the amount of medal haul over the 100 meters. I don't see that athlete yet, and certainly to win 5 over world championships, not happening. None of the current crop can pull that off. I don't think. You really because not only because you may have the ability, a lot of things have to be kind to you, and your health have to be kind, number one, and you have to still have that desire to continue to do that. So that's why I just think it's really a hard slog. Let me get back to some more of these comments. Thank you guys. Keep putting that stuff in. The coach took Shelly to 10.6, so if he does the same with Elaine, that's 10.44 at the very least. I expect Elaine to be sub 10.6 basic. Yeah, I mean, Ronaldo's did fantastic job with Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. Look, we're talking about a woman that can get up, if healthy, in Elaine, can get you a top end speed that can be matched, right? Like if she can get back to that, but can she, right? Like we're talking 4 years on from Tokyo, and again with trouble. Well, I guess maybe after Tokyo wasn't necessarily an injury thing. It was the kind of split that happened, and then injuries and missteps there. But what we saw last year, I think, by all indications, I would say Elaine was ahead of schedule. Basically, once she was working out with Osborne, with Coach Osborne, we saw some good stuff all the way to the end of the season. So if she doesn't get setbacks, then yeah, I mean, I think she's the one to do it. We could have said that a few, coming out of Tokyo. Can she still do it? Only time will tell. I wouldn't be looking at those type of times. I would imagine. I mean, maybe a year or two, or maybe a year after, rather. Maybe when we go back to Tokyo again next year. But it's more of like, get her fit, get her healthy. Because you see, if you're not fit, you can't really take on the kind of work it takes to run those type of times and to run them consistently at the right time. Fortunately, I think she can avoid certain meets as well. Will she? I don't know. But you get right for Jamaica national championships, then you get it right again for the Olympics. If the big three are firing and they're back and their bravado and spunk and everything is back, well, all I have to say here is, like, God help the rest of the world, right? That's what you have to say. Elaine and Shakari have better running techniques than Sharika. Yeah, I mean, there's, Sharika will keep on saying that she's still learning the 100 meters. Yeah, it's different, right? Like, I mean, Elaine is one of the most gorgeous things to watch on a track, right? In terms of the cadence, the style, all of that stuff. So I don't know, right? We'll have to see. Uh, we'll have to see. I think depends on Elaine's self-discipline. Yeah, I don't know if yeah, that's an interesting, but I don't know if it's a thing about her how she operates, right? I think it just happened because of, yeah, we know the story. We don't have to rehash it, But yeah, that's weird. Thank you everybody for joining me. Don't forget to like the video, give me a subscribe if you haven't. That way, we, that's the best way to support the channel. But the great Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce announced in Essence magazine that she's gonna go. And let's just think about it again, right? You think about all our medals. We can go over the big medals, right? Gold medals at the Olympics, 2008, 2012, joins elite category, right? Wayo Matthias, then Gail Divas, then her. Then she wins the relay gold in 2020 in Tokyo. She has silver medals at the Olympics. Over 200 meters in London, right? Right behind Alison Felix there. London team also had that silver medal behind the Americans, who won with a sub 41, which is the world record. Also silver medal in 2016, and she has that silver medal in Tokyo as well, behind Elaine Thompson. And then in Rio, she did pick up a bronze. We all remember that. World Championships, Stella as well. Berlin, 100-meter title, 4x1 relay title. Moscow, 100-meter, 200-meter, 4x1 title. Beijing, 100-meter, 4x1 relay. Doha, 100-meter, 4x1 relay. Eugene, 100-meter title. Fantastic, right? Then to cap that off with the silver medal she got in Osaka when she ran the early rounds in 2007, the Daegu 4x1 silver medal. Eugene, 200-meter silver medal and the 4x1. Budapest, she got that 4x1 silver medal as well. And obviously she has that bronze medal over 100 meters. That's some high class stuff. Ridiculous type of stuff we're talking about here. You know, you could add all the other stuff that she's won, and the time she's run, the 10-6 and all of that. So we're talking about one of the greatest athletes ever to grace us. And again, I'll say it before we wrap up on this thing. It's our consistency. It's that drive for excellence. It's to do it while facing adversity. The injuries, to come back, to win twice after giving birth. That's the stuff of champions. She has a lot of firsts too. The first Caribbean woman to win a gold medal at in the 100 meters. So we're not talking about just a great athlete. We're talking about one of the all-time greats. Athlete overall. And for me, and in the minds of many people, the greatest 100-meter athlete we've ever seen with that body of work. And you gotta be. It's not only luck. I said luck earlier, and it's not luck. You have to do the right things consistently well, time and time again, in order to achieve longevity in the sport. And she's done it. And she's done it at the expense of a lot of things. And so she gets a chance to bid us farewell this great year. And I hope that every opportunity you get to watch her, you try to watch her. And if you can do it in person, even more so. But we haven't seen the like. And I don't think we'll ever see the like again. No one ever comes and try to replicate each inspirational athlete. They often come and try to do their own thing because that's the best way to do it. To etch your own mark and create your own lane and path. But if she does nothing else from here on end, there's nothing we could say. The record is just fantastic. And she's given me some of the greatest moments in my life as a sports fan and as someone who really thinks about the sport of track and field as well. And I think we all will get a little bit emotional when she calls it. But she deserves everything. She's worked hard. And that's all you can ask for. And you hope that a bunch of people, youngsters, little girls and boys all over the world, watch her and they want to be like her. And maybe you'll get a couple that might be just as good as her. But even if they never achieve that, but she's an inspiration to them, they would have made it in some ways. And even if you're an athlete today whose career is half as good or even a quarter as good, you've done something special because this woman has destroyed a lot of people's careers. She's made it hard for a lot of people. A lot of people sit crying, not Shelly again. Even last year, you think about Amari Jose Tolu, you get a one chance when she's not fit and ready. And she comes in and she finds her way on the podium. That's the spirit of a champion. It's the greatest we've ever seen. And long may it continue into this season because I think, as Debbie says here, Shelly has great work ethics. Yeah. I think that's a good way to think about it and a fitting way to probably end the live tonight. I'll be back probably early in the morning to talk a little cricket if I can, but I'll be back tomorrow as well in the afternoon to do a little watch along of the Milrose games. Whoa, All in the Game. You got me here before I was going to come off. I was like, where's All in the Game tonight? Let's see. I'll stick around a little bit. I always like to hear what All in the Game has to say. While Sherika won't win as many individual goals as Shelly, Just want to point out that if she remains as competitive in all her events till 28, she'll have a real chance of winning more total. Right? Yeah, that is true. Very true. Very true. And to be fair, talk about a woman that moves down from the 400 meters. Yeah, yeah. I think you're right. That yeah, she may end up with more total medals for sure. Yeah. Let's see. But definitely no one will. You mean overall, not counting 100, right? You just mean like everything. Yeah. Yeah. No, that is true. LA 20th. I can't wait for that as well. Yeah. Well, we'll wait for Paris for sure. See what happens in Paris, and I'm really intrigued to see how they pull this off. Yeah. 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 No, I mean, look, when all is said and done as well for Sherika Jackson, she'll go down as one of the all-time greats already, for sure. I think we can make a case already that she might be there. It's still a little bit tough, you want her to win some more gold medals, but the versatility to go from four all the way down is unprecedented in some ways. So yeah, if she breaks the world record this year, which again is very hard to do, then we're talking about you know something super special there. But we have to wait and see. Yeah, yeah. But I think I don't know if the big three is. I want the big three to be fit and healthy because I think that's really important for. I think if you root for Jamaica, you definitely want to see that, obviously. But if you root for the sport, you want to see it as well because we're talking about second fastest ever, third fastest ever. You know, where is Sharika right now? Fifth fastest ever or sixth, somewhere there. I can't even remember. Then you get like, Shakari in the mix too. You get a fresh Julian Alfred, maybe Dean Asher Smith. There's all these people. Like the bar is high, right? They can. I don't think those people can challenge yet. They might be. You go down further, Amunjinga, Kambunji. There's all these names. We'll see. The season will unravel in some. Well, we'll see what happens. See a lot of great stuff happening. Maybe tomorrow to get to talk about it when we come on the watch along. But interesting stuff in the indoor. I saw Lamitri Gurma today trying to break that record. He didn't. I mean, Grant Holloway again. What was that like? You know, a few just outside the world record. Yeah, in even bad news as well, I saw Mohamed Katir with his whereabouts violation, which he's firmly saying he hasn't done anything wrong there. So yeah, so interesting times in track and field, and the season is just now warming up. But I want to thank everybody for joining me because as you know, we'll talk about it. But yeah, I really think we're in a moment. Just to end again. I know I might be sounding repetitive, but I'll be remiss if I don't say it again because if anything that Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce leaves, but she leaves a lot of stuff. What she's left, or what she's gonna leave behind at the end of this season, is a career that's filled with excellence. It's one where we know for sure that if you just pick up on the way in which she focuses on that steely determination, if you apply the same kind of work ethic to probably any area of life, you will be successful. So we'll see. All in the game is saying would be lovely for her to go out in style with the 4x1 world record, but only if they run the right order. You see, you're trying to start the fight before we get into July. All in the game. Yeah, they got to run the right order. The 4x1. I see. This is the thing. I don't like to. Well, we're amongst friends, so we can discuss it this way. But the ridiculous nature of how they pull this off in the Jamaican context is just. It's just like they've basically cost themselves a lot of gold medals. I mean, 2012, okay, fine, maybe that's hard. But although it shouldn't have been, but but there's no question, like they've given it away for a number of reasons. And Shelly's on record to say that she run anywhere, and it's to keep the peace. So that's why you get her running all over the place. They need to fix that stuff. It's shambolic. I'll say that. Yeah. You walk away and you don't remember it unless they're like all in the game or people who really follow the sport. But you see the silver medal and you're like, that probably should not have been a silver medal. There's a lot of stuff. Eugene should have been a world record too. So yeah, I mean, if they run the right order, it should work out. But we'll see. We'll really see. But I just want everybody fit and healthy. We'll see. I'm sure they'll prepare in the best way. A lot of stuff to unravel. Yeah. No, I think you're right here. Will be a shame if the big three running in the same 4x1 never broke the world record. Yeah, you just can't tell me that. It just makes no sense. I mean, like literally no sense. It's margins, right? Like, but as they say, like if you one of the interesting things about the relay is if you don't have the team structured in the right way, well, you don't always get what you get. You have teams who are barely good that can pull off relays. Look at the Japanese from time to time. So who knows? But we'll see a lot. Milrose games tomorrow. I'll be there. Well, I'm not. I won't be there. I'll be doing a watch along. And yeah, I hope to see all of you guys on the channel. And thanks for joining me tonight. And you guys stay safe and don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.